Do you remember the Wii, Xbox 360, or PlayStation 3? What about the internet from the late 2000s to early 2010s? The music from that time? What do all of these have in common? Frutiger Aero. What is Frutiger Aero, you may be wondering? It is a style that many companies used. Technology was ever growing, and so companies had to make it easy to transition to. It got phased out in favor of the more simplistic style we see today. Many people have nostalgia for it, including me, and so that's what I'm covering today, an Iceberg chart made by Grunge Band and True Light, links in the description below, about Frutiger Aero. The music you are listening to now is called Dreamscape. You may have heard it in many videos but never knew where it came from. It comes from a music project called 009 Soundsystem, produced by Alexander Pearls. The music mainly focuses on dance or electronic music. It is pretty infamous because of all the videos in the early 2010s that used it. It does sound pretty good, so I do recommend listening to it. If you are on YouTube throughout any of these years, you have seen Frutiger Aero. It had a glossy logo and buttons, making it a certified Frutiger Aero moment. Unfortunately, it came victim to simplification, and it looks how we know it today. German musician Daniel Rosenfeld, better known as C418, was the composer of Minecraft. He has made many great songs, including Subwoofer Lullaby, Minecraft, Mice on Venus, Chirp, Wait, Melahai, Stall, and my personal favorite that always makes me get emotional, Sweden. After the volume alpha and beta tracks were done, he moved on and made other music, but his Minecraft tracks are still one of his best. A key part of Frutiger Aero is the glossy appearance. You've probably seen it in many things during that era. It is the most identifiable part of Frutiger Aero. Could be glass, could be bubbles. If it has a reflection, it is pretty Frutiger Aero. The iDog was a Japanese toy that was made in 2005 through 2009 that moved to the worldwide market. You connect an iPod to it and then it becomes a glorified speaker. It can show emotions, you could talk to it, and I say that in quotes because it would just respond with beeps and boops. It came in many different colors and forms, but ultimately stopped being made. You can see how it fits within the Frutiger Aero style, looking glossy and futuristic. If you want to learn more, I recommend KK Clue's video on it, link in the description. In 2007, Apple was showing off the brand new iPhone, and it used a design choice called skeuomorphism. I'll get to it later. Apple used this style for the next 6 versions of iOS and next 5 phones. Then when iOS 7 released, it dropped skeuomorphism for simplification. All the next 8 versions of iOS used the style, but thankfully a little thing called the Shortcuts app made it so that you could add your own app icons. So I changed all of my app icons to make it look like iOS 5. To add on, there's a separate app called OldOS that fully emulates the iOS 5 experience. Do I really have to explain it? Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was a kids show from 2006 to 2016 where it teaches kids how to do math, shapes, and patterns. I saw it when I was a young lad, and honestly, I can't remember a single thing that happened in the show. A reason why this show is on the Iceberg is that it uses Frutiger Eco. I'll explain. The Nintendo DS was a game console made by Nintendo in 2004 through 2011. It is Nintendo's best-selling console and second best-selling console to date. It was glossy and used nature. Like, look at this wallpaper for New Super Mario Bros. Or this commercial. A lot of the games were also really good and fit within the Frutiger Aero style, trademark. Just look at it. Gloss, nature, Metro. I'll get to that, by the way. Portal is a game made by Valve that was part of the Orange Box in 2007. Can you tell I know this topic? Use portals to your advantage while a funny robot woman talks to you. It uses some good gloss and has a futuristic aesthetic and some pretty good gloss on the portal gun. And now you're thinking of portals. I'm sorry, I had to. The cross media bar was the menu for the PS3 and PSP, and it uses this thing, I don't know what that's called. A slight bit of gloss and a glowing sort of thing on each button. It's pretty nostalgic to me because the PS3 was one of my childhood consoles, and yes, I still have it. Roblox during that era of Frutiger Aero reflected it very well, using nature and gloss, and then progressively toned down with simplification. Also, can we talk about this logo? It's actually beautiful. It's really nice. Remember when I was talking about iOS? Yeah, here's the explanation. It was a design choice for many tech companies so that people could easily transition from real-world items to digital items. It was phased out because people knew how to use technology now, but it will never not look good. Super Mario Galaxy is a game that was released in 2007 by Nintendo. Bowser does his classic thing, except it's in space. I kinda don't see a lot of Frutiger Aero in this game. I guess some gloss, maybe some glow, I don't really know, but I guess it just fits within the Wii era. Alright, looking back, I realized why it fits within Frutiger Aero, because look at the shards. Look at those buttons. listen to the music. All of it is kind of Frutiger Aero, and I have no clue why I said it did not fit within it. Though here is a bonus. A bunch of aliens called Wisps get stolen by Dr. Eggman for his interstellar amusement park, and Sonic and Tails have to stop that. It has some good gloss, Frutiger Metro, and banging electronic music, though Mario Galaxy was good too. I'm American, so I'll be talking about the US version of The Office. The Office was a sitcom about a couple of people working on a paper company. The show lasted from 2005 through 2013, which are the years of Frutiger Aero. They used Windows 7 and maybe Vista and Longhorn, but I can't think of anything else because I've never seen the show. I guess maybe this website? Disney/Pixar's WALL-E released in 2008, and it's about a little robot who cleans up trash because humans have trashed the world so much it becomes uninhabitable. Humans move to a space station, and it looks pretty Frutiger Aero. The Wii was Nintendo's 7th gen console released in 2006 and is a staple of Frutiger Aero. The main menu, the Me channel, many of the games are Frutiger Aero, Super Mario Galaxy, Sonic Colors, Wii Sports, The Blob, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario Kart Wii, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Mario Party 8 and 9, and so much more. It is Nintendo's best-selling home console, and it was my childhood console, and it made many memories for me. The Wii U is the successor to the Wii, released in 2013. I don't think I had to tell you that. It sold poorly, but I believe it was good. Mario Kart 8, New Super Mario Bros. Wii U. I know this isn't specifically Wii U, but Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and also the main menu. I'm pretty sure this is one of the last things that had Frutiger Aero. Windows 7 is another iconic part of Frutiger Aero. It used great gloss, glass, nature, and slight skeuomorphism, and the icons are really good. It released in 2009, so it definitely had Frutiger Aero, and overall it was a good operating system. It's very simple. It was the wallpapers that were released with Windows 7, and it's very Frutiger Aero, especially the Windows icon background. It's beautiful. It is the transparent looking glass that Windows had. Literally the same thing as Windows 7, the wallpapers that came with Vista had Frutiger Aero. Yeah. It kind of looks like the cross-media bar from the PlayStation 3. Windows XP released in 2001, and to a lot of people, it was the most iconic Windows operating system. It had gloss, nature, and that beautiful wallpaper called Bliss. The Xbox 360 Blaze dashboard was released with the Xbox 360 in 2005, but in 2008 it was replaced with the NXT dashboard. It was basically a main menu for the console. Eco-modernism is a philosophy which argues that technology can protect the environment and people imagine a world where a city can blend in with nature. It fits with Frutiger Aero with it being technology, and also this is what I meant by fits with nature, or the next thing. Eco Frutiger Aero, or Frutiger Eco, is Frutiger Aero but nature. It's clean, green, and shiny. Sometimes it has water, and usually has something to do with the earth. Take eco-modernism and then amplify it. Frutiger Metro is Frutiger Aero but flat. It uses flowers, weird patterns, and for some reason is always associated with music. Well, I guess not always, but you get the point. It does look pretty good, to be honest. I think I saw it at my school library one time. I don't know what this is specifically referring to, but I guess it could be the fashion, the website, or the TV channel. I don't know. It's so glossy. Windows Longhorn was the predecessor to Windows Vista, and Vista and XP already had some Frutiger Aero, so of course Longhorn had an Aero. During 2008 through 2010, Cartoon Network used these figurine type things as an equivalent to the Adult Swim bumpers. They use a base called Nudes, put a character's face on it, and some guy will say what show was coming up next. DeviantArt has emoticons, and they have some gloss. Also, the peak of DeviantArt was the same time as Frutiger Aero, so adds to nostalgia. I'd like to add on with this by showing the emojis made by Tanya Mao. They have some gloss, I guess, and also they're pretty funny, so I'll leave a link to the website below. FreeBSD is an open source operating system that was released in 1993 and was sometime updated to have the Frutiger Aero style. You can definitely see it in the logo. In case of two people who don't know what Geometry Dash is, it's a game where you have to jump at the right time. It has a few Frutiger Aero elements releasing in 2013. Lazy Town was a kids show from 2004 about a girl who moves to Lazy Town with her uncle, and the show teaches kids how to be active. It had very good eco-modernism in the show, thus making it Frutiger Aero. Mirror's Edge was a game made by EA where you do some cool parkour. Most of the buildings have some slight Frutiger Metro. The game had a sequel, and overall the game did well. Nickelodeon makes some movies, and their intro from 2004 through 2016 is absolute peak Frutiger Aero. It has water, bubbles, and in general gloss. An absolute masterpiece. It was from 2003 and it was very glossy. Purple Place was an educational game released with Windows 7 and Vista. Purple Place's characters were pretty glossy and it used some eco-modernism. Sorry is a board game where you try to get all your pieces to home. What makes it Sorry is by getting cards that can send someone back. I personally played the Fire and Ice version, and I remember getting ice sucked because it frees a piece in place. The board and box art looks pretty Frutiger Aero, I guess. In episode 92 of SpongeBob SquarePants, the inside of the bus has some good Frutiger Aero-ness. While the Iceberg entry says only the bus, I would argue the whole entire setting of the King's house is pretty Frutiger Aero. Windows Dreamscene was an app that lets you use a video as a background. It came packaged with Windows Vista, but at some point it got removed from Windows. Of course, with Windows 7 being Frutiger Aero, the media center reflected it. It also kind of looks like the PlayStation menu from that era. Wow Wow Wubsy was a kids show in 2006 about Wubsy and his friends getting up to wacky situations. I used to have a disc of some of the episodes and I loved it. I used a bit of Frutiger Metro, so I guess that's a thing. The PG era of WWE got its name because it had PG elements. It started in 2008, so it had some Frutiger Aero elements, especially in the logo. The Ocean Eyes album is probably Owl City's most popular album. It had fireflies, so of course it is. The album cover also had a bit of Frutiger Eco. Another thing, in some Frutiger Aero playlists on Spotify, sometimes it has fireflies, which I find pretty funny. Funky Seasons are 4 colors used with a lot of tech companies when making different colored products. The 4 colors are electric lime, sky blue, hot pink, and neon orange, and are always associated with iPods or earbuds. Or probably something else, I guess. This isn't on the Iceberg, but the people who made the Iceberg forgot to put in Android versions, so I'll just talk about them. Throughout 2008 and 2013, Android's UI had very skeuomorphic designs. You can see this well on the clock. Later, Android fell victim to simplification, and that's where it is today. A detergent brand named Ariel made basically Tide Pods, and the packaging has some good Frutiger Aero and Metro. I would argue this goes for really any detergent brand. Bubble Guppies is an educational kids show on Nick Jr., and with it taking place in the ocean, there's bound to be a slight Frutiger Aero. Flow was a Flash game made in 2006, then in 2007 it was made a PlayStation 3 game. You play as a worm-like creature that eats other organisms to get bigger. It has some blue gradients and some bubbles. The default wallpaper for Mac OS X Snow Leopard, that's a long-ass name, and I had to say that slowly, was a cool-looking picture that can be described as a galaxy, at least to me. All of Mac OS X Snow Leopard has some good Frutiger Aero-ness, but this wallpaper gives me heavy nostalgia for my dad's old MacBook. Robots was a movie about a robot who has to fight an evil CEO who's also a robot. I think, I don't know. The movie shows a lot of eco-modernism. Yeah, I'm getting tired of writing this script. Samsung developed a user interface called TouchWiz for their phones and tablet computers. From 2009 through 2014, it had a Frutiger Aero and skeuomorphic aesthetic, though in 2014, simplification took over, but it didn't affect much because TouchWiz got discontinued and replaced. Skylanders was a game series about an evil guy named Chaos doing evil things, and the Skylanders have to stop him. Though, what made this game interesting is Spyro! I'm just kidding, it was the Toys to Life feature. The game also used elements like grass, air, water, and this box art looks pretty Frutiger Metro or Eco. Maybe a mixture of both. Since 2018, there has never been a game since. Sony made phones at some point, and the UI and marketing have a glossy style. Yeah. Spore is a game released in 2008 where you play as God! You make your own creatures, and because it deals with future and nature, it would have some Frutiger Aero elements. Hexbugs were robotic bug toys that could fight. They used bright and translucent colors, so that's how it's Frutiger Aero. I remember seeing commercials for it, and somehow they're still alive today. Solar Punk is basically eco-modernism, but as I've read, the only difference is the punk part, which can be described as optimistic, or I don't know, I just saw that from a website. .D Tune was a game released in 2009, and it involves a man sitting in a chair in a strange environment. You could do all sorts of things, like putting on different effects onto the camera or shrinking his head. There were these little blob things that can appear, and they look pretty Frutiger Aero. Acer is a computer company that, well, made computers, and they included these wallpapers that are the very definition of Frutiger Aero. They are seriously beautiful. They had water, nature, PlayStation cross-media bar type things, gloss, and so much more. Discord has a mod called Better Discord, and that includes theme customization. A GitHub user named Marta33 uploaded a theme called Skew Chord, and it looks very good. There's also Discord Time Machine 08 made by 11 Pixels on Better Discord. I'll leave links to the themes, Better Discord, and how to install it. The O2 store is a European store that sells phones and other electronic goodies. Most of the interior has very Frutiger Aero elements like bubbles and the funky season colors. Basically the same things I have to say about ABC and the Pepsi logo. It is a literal Frutiger orb. THX had a prototype trailer called Musical Wisps in 2012. It had the Musical Wisp fly around and then the logo appears. It was never officially completed, and it does look pretty Frutiger Aero. Back in 2007, Mattel made a toy called UB Funkies. But not only was it a toy, but it was also a game. The toy could connect to the game sort of like Webkins or somewhat like Skylanders. Some of the packaging had Frutiger Metro, and so did some of the toys. Unfortunately, it was discontinued in 2010. This was another THX trailer, but it was made in 2007. It featured a bunch of natural things making a beat together and combining it to the THX logo. Why did I say it like that? Apple's original collection of software before iCloud was a thing called iTools. It included a whole suite of things like iCards, a software where you can digitally greet family members and friends, email, very explanatory, homepage, you can make your own websites, iDisk, it was the predecessor to iCloud, and finally, KidSafe, it was the equivalent to Safe Search. All of the apps mentioned had gloss and glass, and it was very Frutiger Aero-ness. It was basically an improved version of iTools, and it had all sorts of things like backups, Find My Phone, more storage, address book, and calendar, Mobile Me Gallery, iDisk, and so much more. Because it was just an improved version of iTools, it had some of the same design elements. Pinocchio 3000 was a movie released in 2004 and follows the plot of Pinocchio, except it's futuristic. It has heavy themes of eco-modernism as seen in the poster. I also want to mention the budget was $12 million, but only made back $1 million. You know the dead web browser Internet Explorer? It had some unused logos, and it was replaced with this absolute masterpiece of a logo. Tetley Tea is a company that sells, tea. Their mascots, as I quote from Grunge Man, is Frutiger Aero-esque, so take it that what you will. I guess I could see it. It's Mobile Me and iTools just rebranded for the 8,000th time. Fruit Shoot is a drink that is made to appeal to kids, and because of that, one of their old logos had a very Frutiger Aero aesthetic. A YouTube channel by the name of Syriac uploaded a video called Welcome to Kitty City in 2011. It has a cat contorting into many different things with weird music. I would say some of the background had sort of a Frutiger Aero aesthetic. Sushi Pack was a show made in 2007 and 2009 and featured 5 characters in a group called the Sushi Pack. They all try to stop a villain who tries to destroy their city. All of the members have funky season colors. That is the end of the Iceberg, and here are all of Grunge Man and True Light's special things. But I will mention this one. This is the subreddit for the Frutiger Aero aesthetic, and I highly recommend checking it out if you're interested. There is also a link to the Frutiger Aero Discord server, which are all full of nice people. My personal special thanks goes to a YouTuber by the name of Undefined. They make really good videos on the Frutiger Aero aesthetic and is what introduced me to my favorite aesthetic. I recommend watching the 2000s aesthetic that you definitely recognize and Frutiger Aero Deep Dive. They're all seriously good videos, so watch them please. Links in the description. Well, I thank you for making it this far. This video took a long time to make. The script alone took 3 days to make. This is my first serious video I'm making where I put my all into it. If you liked it, maybe you can give this video a like. And if you want to see more videos by me, maybe subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.